Hi everyone, this is Andrew Tan. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm looking at this mid-2015 15-inch MacBook Pro, and we have an issue at the moment with the battery. So it's saying here service recommended, and if we go to the power settings here, we will see that we have had a not too bad a cycle count, 265. However, it's saying service is recommended. It's probably due to the age of the battery, which is relatively old. So we're going to do a replacement and see how this turns out. So all I'm going to do is to just shut down the So what we need to do is to make sure we shut down the computer fully, and then we're going to work on this computer. So the battery we're going to be using is a third-party battery called the ANTIEE, and this is available from Amazon, and I'm going to leave a link to this in the description so you can buy one yourself. What's really great about these third-party battery packs is that basically they're the only option, because the Apple versions of these batteries are not really available to buy, and you can get these warranty replaced, but it's much easier, faster and cheaper to buy one of these battery replacement packs. So what's cool is that we have our own kind of big yellow spudger, which is going to be really handy for the battery, and then we have the other kind of custom tools which they give you free copies of. So all three of these screwdrivers are going to be needed to take off various screws, and it's very unlikely, unless you repair Macs for a living, that you're going to use these again. So these are definitely nice to have. This is the actual battery pack itself. This has got the adhesives and everything. So the first thing we need to do is to locate the pentalobe part. So this one happens to be the blue one. I'm going to be taking out all of these screws at the bottom. I think it's a pentalobe 1.2 millimeter. They're fairly common. So I can feel here that's kind of bulging a bit because that screw just popped out straight away. It's a sign that there's an issue with the battery. So just make sure to keep the screws nice and secure. These have magnetized tips, which is very nice. So once all the screws are out, we can just pop open the bottom of the case, like so. You can already see there's an issue here. These are bulging, which is not a good sign at all. There's pressure being exerted, so the trackpad might not work that well. And it's probably a bit of a danger as well, so we definitely want to remove these. So the first thing we're going to do is to remove this kind of adhesive cover at the top, so we can expose the bottom. And then we have this connector here, so I'm going to remove this connector first. Okay, so what that does is that basically disconnects the battery, and so we shouldn't have any other issues with the battery itself. Next thing I'm going to do is to remove the trackpad. All we need to do is to flick this part open. So I might get my nail in here, just to be a little bit careful, so just flick that little bit open. And then we can pull the adhesive from the battery and then kind of pull this part backwards. So we can just keep that out of the way, no need to actually remove it. And then we're going to work on the actual connector part here. So I'm going to remove the adhesives here. Great, so what that basically does is that it exposes all of the screws that we need to get this off. So you'll see that with the batteries there's a kind of small board that needs to be reattached. So this whole part needs to come out. So we don't need the pentalobe screwdriver anymore. What we do need is the kind of hexacore one. So we're going to remove these two parts. So they've given us a tiny one, which is this little red one here, which I'm going to use to pull out these two screws here. It's not as well magnetized as the other ones. We'll put that to the side. We've got a screw. And we've got a screw here as well. They didn't magnetize that tip. Okay, good. So basically we have the board fully exposed now, and now we can begin the process of getting the battery out. So this is basically tricky because the actual part itself is adhesived into the bottom of the case, so we have to be very careful. We have to be careful as well of not piercing the cells, because basically if you pierce a cell, it releases energy and heat, and then also it could start a fire. So ideally, you know, if you had the opportunity to try to run down the battery, but of course, you know, if the battery is not working correctly, you might not be able to run it down without it not falling. Managed to snap this. It's not very strong. But might use the handle part actually, because that's a little bit easier to go with. So basically what we're going to do is lever out the edges, and then we'll kind of work our way into the middle. So what I like to do is just kind of use a spudger, use a piece of plastic, don't use metal, and kind of lever out the cells like so. So there's not, it is really tricky to do. I'm basically lever against the speaker part, but you can kind of pull these out bit by bit, and then you have that cell out. So that was relatively easy to do. Basically we want to do the same thing again, and then basically I want to do the same thing again with this part here. So basically I'm going to get underneath. So I mean, ostensibly this is what this part is for, but I feel it's a bit weak. I will try this now, because basically what we're doing is we're going to cut the adhesive underneath here, and we want to just get that underneath. Not be too aggressive. You can hear that coming out. Try and support it so it doesn't snap. I can feel this is like a good spudger tool. I think I was just trying a bit too an aggressive an angle. You want to just be kind of gentle and try to get it all out in one piece, because you don't want to damage these cells. I can feel it working better. So, you know, focus more on cutting the adhesive than actually trying to lever it out.